Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is Dr. Janice Hooker Fortman with another episode of Relationship Matters. On this show, we talk about all kinds of relationships. We talk about personal relationships. We talk about professional relationships. And pretty soon, ladies, we're going to talk about relationships. Well, ladies and men, relationships with inanimate objects. And when I say that, I mean, ladies, those shoes that we can't get rid of. We can't wear them, but we won't get rid of them. You know why? Because we have a relationship with them. Or all those purses. We have a relationship with them. And men, maybe that old ratty chair that you sit in that you really need to get rid of, or that hat that you wear all the time, you have a relationship with it. Well, this evening, we're going to talk about our relationship with music. And tonight I have a special guest. I know he won't say it, but I will say it, a nationally renowned jazz musician. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about him, and then I'm going to bring him on. His name is John A. Lewis. He is a jazz pianist and composer. He's an all-around jazz musician. And he has a lot of stories that he's going to tell us. So right now, oops, I'm clicking the wrong buttons. So right now, I'm going to bring to you John Lewis. But I'm going to bring to you first a nice little video about John so you can get to know him just a little bit before he comes on. Well, hello there, Mr. John A. Lewis.
Hello, Dr. Hooker. Dr. Fortman, sorry.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now, I'm right outside of Chicago, and you are in Dallas.
That's right.
How's the weather?
It's very cold.
And what do you consider very cold?
I think it's about 29 degrees right now.
Is that all? You know what?
At all?
If it was 29 degrees, if it was 29 degrees here, I probably would be riding around with my convertible.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, right.
Well, I want to tell my audience a little bit about you, okay?
All right.
John A. Lewis is a native of Dallas, Texas, and he studied trumpet and composition at Mountain View Junior College and Southern Methodist University. He's a former student of noted jazz educator Dr. Tom Mason and the late pianist and composer Claude Johnson Jr. Now, as a young man, John spent time around many musicians, including James Moody, Etta James, Johnny Taylor, Nat King Cole, Ella Fitzgerald, just to name a few performers. Now, John comes from a long line of relatives in the entertainment field. His father and grandfather were in the booking, promotion, and management of entertainers. Now, I'm going to do something that John really doesn't know about. So, John, everybody has a history. But so first, I want to ask you, what did you do before you became a musician?
Well, became a musician rather late. Uh, my mind was really set on becoming a baseball player, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And when that looked like it wasn't going to pan out, I just decided, well, what else can I do? I was married and working on day jobs every day. So I always did like music. I mean, I was just into music all the time. Music was going on around the house all the time. So, I decided, hey, I think I'll try to be a musician. Actually, when I started out, I said I wanted to be a journalist, a music journalist. I was going to write about music. And I said, well, it would help me to find out more about music if I played.
Okay.
So I got a trumpet, and I liked the trumpet. I liked that, and I had no idea how difficult it would be. But I bought a trumpet, and then I bought another trumpet and got some lessons. And actually, I became, good enough to play in the stage band at Mountain View College, the Symphonic Wind Ensemble, and also in the stage band at SMU University. And it just began to just develop here and there. So I had a friend that was in an R&B band, and I used to go sit in, and eventually this took, I don't know how long, maybe a couple of years of just sitting in and hanging around and learning about music. Eventually they had an opening. Somebody quit or left or something. So I just joined the band, and it just took off from then, playing R&B music.
Okay, so R&B, that's kind of like way to the left, and then jazz is way to the right. So
Not really.
what made you, not really? So
Not
that's
really.
no. Okay, so
It's
what's
kind
the
of like
similarities? Because I don't see a similarity. But what's the similarity?
well, it's just all music. Jazz is, you could say jazz, maybe you could consider jazz a little more heady, a little more abstract, I guess
Okay.
you could say, versus R&B music and more popular music, more easy to accessible and stuff like that. And the I guess you say the main difference is uh, jazz music is mostly improvised,
Oh,
whereas R&B, you're playing the song, you play the same songs pretty much the same way every time. With
oh,
jazz, you just take liberties. You might play a tune at a different tempo, may even change the chords, change the rhythm, change the meter, however you want to.
okay.
Mhm.
Well, we mentioned that, at least I mentioned, that you come from a line of people in the entertainment business. So I'm going to click on something here and tell me, who is this? Who is this right here?
Right there. Okay, that's my father, my stepmom, Etta James, and my grandfather's wife, Mary Ruth.
Now, okay, so now, what's the relationship here between your father and Etta James?
Well, he was our personal manager.
Oh, so how
Yeah.
long was he her manager?
I don't know exactly, maybe 5 or 6 years. He, she actually used to live with us for a while.
Really?
Yeah, when we lived, when she was in Dallas, and
Uh-huh.
they used to go on the road together and stuff, like that. And yeah, she lived with us maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 months or something like that.
Oh, okay. So you knew her personally.
I guess you could say that. I was a pretty young kid, and I didn't know that much about. I knew her, I knew about her, and everything like that, but it wasn't really like we would talk. Me and my best friend would Bobby. We would just sit and talk with her when she would be at home and off the road because they stayed on the road quite a bit. And we'd ask her all about the music business and what was going on as far as what we knew. And she was really nice, telling us all the stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to tell her, what would she be? I'm asking you, what would she really like? You know, we've seen movies. Well, Beyonce did a movie about her,
Yeah.
and supposedly, that was her life. And then I know Etta James wrote two books, Rage to Survive, and so you hear all about the bad stuff.
She was very down to earth. Really,
Okay,
really down to earth. Really,
okay,
really,
okay.
really no airs or nothing. She was just
All
very
right.
down to earth. You
Okay.
gotta understand that business is pretty tough,
Show
especially
business or
yeah, and you hear a lot of things and all these rumors and everything like that. But as far as I know, she was a very down there, very nice person.
okay. I understand that I was doing my research, and
Mm.
I understand that when she came to after John Lewis, got to be a senior, and and he was kind of ill, that she did a concert in Dallas, and she brought him up on the stage and gave
Oh
him
yeah,
accolades, and
oh yeah, yeah.
yeah.
She was crazy about him. It was like he was like a father to her.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay, that's good to hear.
yeah.
So,
Actually,
how did your dad get into uh, entertaining, and how did he and Etta meet?
well, he knew Etta in California when he lived there.
Okay,
He went through a band leader named Johnny Otis.
okay.
Actually, before Etta really hit big with the tunes that she was noted for, she had a tune called I think it was called "Roll with Me, Henry," or "Dance with Me, Henry," or something like that.
Was that her? I remember that song, "Dance with Me, Henry."
Yeah,
Oh, I was a teenager. As a matter
yeah.
of fact, yeah.
Anyway,
Say, my mother wouldn't let me listen to that because
anyway, when my father came home, he
uh-huh.
began to work for his father, my grandfather, who was a promoter, and he started taking bands on the road for my grandfather, for his father. That's how he really got into the business, the music business. And
Ah,
it just built like that, he began to he got his booking license, so he started booking uh, certain acts that he wanted to do, which were mostly jazz. People like James Moody, uh, early Ray Charles, people like that, that he wanted to deal with, and it just grew from there. And
okay.
eventually, Etta, some kind of way, I don't know exactly how they connected up, but she came to town, and she started living with us, and he started booking her and everything. And then they moved to Chicago, and that's when she got a record contract with Chess, and that
Okay.
was and then became the record At Last, and I'd Rather Go Blind, and all those tunes like that.
Okay. Now to
Mm.
mention your grandfather. Here he is with Joe Lewis. I do recognize Joe Lewis.
Yeah,
And then here he is with I believe that's Johnny Taylor.
right. Yeah, he was Johnny Taylor's manager.
Oh, okay. And then here he is with Nat King Cole.
Right.
Okay. Now I saw an article where when he passed, he was written up. He was on the front page of Dallas newspaper about him because wasn't he the first black promoter? Was he the first black promoter in the United States, or in how did that work? I read something like that.
I don't know. I can't say he was the first, but he was probably the most prominent during his time in the area that he promoted in, which was the 5-state area: Texas, Louisiana, uh, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona,
And before we went on,
and sometimes and some Tennessee too. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
you told me you would tell me some of the stories of how he would bring different artists to the club. Now, so your grandmother owned a club, correct?
no, she didn't own a club. She owned a hotel. My
Okay.
grandfather owned a dance hall. They called it a dance hall because it was large and people danced there. It wasn't like a club. A club is a little more intimate.
Okay.
I guess you could say it held about 700 people.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Big
Hmm.
club. And
Yeah.
so did the entertainers come there? Did they to the club, or did he book them in different places? I know that was way back then. So,
Yeah. He booked them there, which is in the city, and then he would take them on the road. That's when my father would come in and we just take them out on the road like that. In other
oh,
words, the main booking agent was in New York, Shaw Booking Agency. I think that's what it was called, and also one called Universal Attractions. And they would send him, he would promote him, and he would uh, send him down, and then he would just take him on a tour through the Southwest and like that.
all right.
Uh, the I guess you might say the I don't know if you call it unique. Well, one thing that was that when he booked these acts, it was mixed shows. It was both black and white entertainers on the same show, which
Okay.
was kind of unusual. Not kind of, it was unusual at that particular time.
Okay.
He had that clout.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He
So
also booked jazz too, big jazz concerts too.
now so really your father and your grandfather really kind of influenced your would you say going into being a musician and a
Not
jazz?
at all.
No.
No.
Oh,
Also, well, you may not have known this, but also my aunt was also in the music business too. My father's sister.
okay. Now
Yeah,
what did
she
she?
did. She did some booking and promoting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So so you when I said a history, you do have a history. Now, even though you don't think you were influenced, you were, because I think you were influenced by your environment. So think about it, way back there in the back of your brains. I
I don't
think
think so.
we were influenced, huh?
Not really.
You don't think so? You just
No.
think
And
just
I wasn't even encouraged to think about it.
oh, really?
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
remember my father once said, "You really don't want to be a musician, do you?" He said, "Man, it's a hard life. You know,
Okay.
go to school, learn something, and do something else. Don't do this."
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
But jazz and music is your passion and
Yes.
your purpose. So
Yes.
So we're going to talk more about you. Who were your musical influencers? Who influenced you as far as jazz is concerned, and the style of jazz that you do?
Well, I guess you could say my biggest influence was Miles Davis.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that was really influenced me to even play music. I mean, I just loved the way I just was into what he did.
Okay. His style.
The whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I've listened to. Now, who else influenced you?
Well,
Well, he was your biggest one, but were there
yeah.
other?
Well, you know, if you're a musician, most of the time you have lots of influences. Some of them are local, and some of them are just here and there. Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock. You know, you just pick it up here and there. You know,
Oh,
you hear this and you like, hey, what is this? You know, like you know, I got to figure this out, and I like this. Maybe I can do something like that, work something around that or something. But as far as being influenced as a musician from a point of view as a musician, you know, somebody to say, wow, you know, woo, then yeah, that Miles Davis was the one.
okay.
Keith Jarrett, you
Okay,
know,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, you know, just but then everybody else comes along and then they're doing something else and then you get attracted to that and you just move on.
I also read that one of your musical influencers was Claude Debussy. I think that's the way I'm pronouncing it.
Debussy.
Debussy. Thank you.
Yeah,
And wait a minute. He was a classical composer, and
right,
I remember he composed Clair de Lune. So
correct.
how did he fit in to influencing you and your style of jazz?
Composition.
So what do you mean by that?
Well, I guess you consider Debussy was a what you call a French musician that was prominent during the late uh, 1900s,
Okay.
and just the way he wrote, his whole his composition, his textures he had, and all that. It just you just hear things and you want to more than just not copy them, but you're influenced by it. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Also, I was also Maurice Ravel. Also,
Now
was
who is he? 'Cause-
he's another composer of the same area, a French composer.
Okay.
You know, this we call it 20th century uh, modern music. It comes along with Stravinsky and Eric Satie and all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, John, I have to go to a quick commercial
sure.
and just hang on. We will be right back. All right. And I got some more questions to ask you. Okay.
Okay.
And then also I have a secret that I'm going to tell.
Well,
Okay.
that should be interesting.
Yeah. Okay. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Don't go away. We're back.
Okay.
We're back. We're back. Now I have a couple of more questions. Well, not a couple of more. Actually, I've got a few more questions. So we talked about your musical influences. Now, I know that you have I guess, a quartet and a trio. How, so now your trio consists of you on the keyboard and who else?
It changes from time to time. It's not set. Sometimes I guess you might say it depends on the venue,
Uh-huh.
whether it's a quartet or a trio. Also, sometimes we do also with a singer too. You know,
Oh,
it just depends on.
we're gonna talk about a singer just a little bit later.
I look forward to that. Anyway, it just depends on the venue. Most of the time, I perform mostly with a trio, and then sometimes we can expand and have a saxophone or
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
So how do you
No,
choose people? How do
how
you
do I
choose?
choose? How do I choose who's going to play with me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, I have some regular people. Jeff Pickering, my bass player, and also who's also the president, I guess you might say, of my record company.
Okay.
He plays bass with me. He's also the business manager and all that. And other Mary Gillette, he was a longtime drummer with me. Still performs with me occasionally. Then there's Gerard Bendix, who's also a drummer. There's
Uh-huh.
Mitchell Jancy is also a bass player. Lincoln Applin, bass player. They've all recorded with me at various times and everything.
Okay.
When I first started playing jazz, there was a friend of mine, Ron Jones, a saxophone player, and he used to play with me all the time, but he's kind of ventured out into other things. He's also a teacher there and all that. But he was also an influence on me.
Okay.
He was the one that really influenced me into writing. We used to
Uh-huh.
practice together almost every day at Southern Methodist University in the practice rooms, and we would just in there for hours and hours, and it was really cool. And we used to have these. It's called a real book. It's all the jazz tunes in it, and we played through it, and we got to a point where yeah. He asked me, "Do you write anything?" So I had a couple of tunes out there, and he said, "That's pretty
Uh-huh.
good. You should write more." So I wrote some more, and he'd play them, and write some more, and he would play them. Eventually, we ended up recording. I think he did four recordings with me. So
Wow.
he was a big influence in that respect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I understand that you have recorded 9 critically acclaimed CDs, and the most recent one is called Progenation, which reached number 8 on the CMJ chart. Now, I guess I'm going to show my lack of knowledge on the word progenation. What does that mean, and why did you name your CD that?
Well, if you look through my CDs, most of them, I come up with these names, and they're just derivatives of. I mean, you can you can take a descriptive noun or an adjective and add ion, and you make it a noun.
Okay.
Okay, you know what a progeny is?
Evidently not. Oh, a progeny, yeah. Excuse me.
Okay,
Yeah, progeny, yeah.
so
Progeny.
so you add ion, and it becomes a thing. You understand what I mean?
I got you.
Okay, that's it.
So that's how you name your CDs?
Not all of them. I just sometimes I'm reading a novel or something, and there's a name that comes by or something, and I'll just say, oh, that'll make a good song title. You know, I have a CD called One Trip Out. I have no idea where it came from, but it's just One Trip Out. That's the name of the CD.
So does the name of the CD reflect the kinds of songs that's on it?
Not at all.
Really?
No. This
Okay.
is jazz. I mean, it's not like pop music. Pop music would be like that. When I say
Okay.
pop music, I say popular music, like
Okay.
that. But no, it's just like Beethoven wrote the Emperor Concerto. Who was the emperor? It's just
Okay. All right. I got you.
he dedicated it to Napoleon. I understand, but Napoleon made him mad. It was so that's it.
So,
Symphony number 5, whatever.
okay, yeah, right. Yeah,
Right.
Beethoven's Fifth.
By the way, I'd like to correct you on here. My latest CD is called Nefariosity.
Nefariosity.
Hmm.
So now, did
Now,
you put the osity on to nefarious?
yes.
Okay. All right.
See?
So now I have another question. Jazz, like you said earlier, is about improvisation.
Yeah.
When you are playing, when you are performing, are you improvising right then and there? In
Yeah.
other words, well, okay, wait a minute. In other words, so let's say you're performing a particular tune at a particular place, and
Yes.
you're going to perform that same tune someplace else, and
Yeah.
you're improvising. Would I hear two different ways that you're improvising? I mean, is it on
Yeah.
the spot?
Yeah. It's just like this. Just like we're talking now about
Mhm,
something,
mhm.
same subject tomorrow in a different place, we'd be talking different because what we're actually doing there is improvising. Right
Okay,
now, we're improvising. At least I am.
okay,
I mean, you come up with the realm where we're going to talk about the whatever the subject, and then we just go for it. It's the
okay.
same thing with jazz.
All right, okay.
I always say that jazz is like it's like a conversation. Pop music is like a play. Pop
Hmm,
music is done the same way all the time, or a movie. But jazz is just like a conversation. You know,
okay,
if we were talking about your car, we would talk about it. We would just be riffing on it. You might would say, just talking about it. And then the next day we talk about the same car, the same thing, but it's going to be a little different.
oh.
Yeah.
So what style of jazz? What do you call your style?
Well, that's kind of hard to. Well, it's not hard. It's derived from, I guess you might say, bebop. It's built on bebop, but
Okay.
you know, styles and all that they meld together, and it's a little sometimes you call it's free, it's post bop, it's neo bop, it's just names.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
you know
Okay. So, what do you feel is the best song you've ever composed, and why?
I can't say that.
You
I
can't.
really could not say that.
So
I
they're
just
all
couldn't.
your special babies, so to speak.
There are none. For one thing, the things I've recorded 20 years ago, I don't even play anymore.
Really?
No. I mean,
And
that's 10 recordings over the past 20 years. That means if you listen to the first recording and listen to the last one, they don't even sound alike.
oh, this is very, very interesting. Very, very
Yeah.
interesting to me.
There's a growth there. There's a
Okay.
development, a development as a player. There's development of your ideals as you grow, and all that. So therefore, and in fact, the other day I was going and just reading through some of the charts that I had written when I first started recording.
Uh-huh.
They're just hard to play because
Really?
yeah, they are. They're much more difficult because I've kind of grown away from that into a more, I guess you might say, linear, more simple style. You know what I mean? That gives me more freedom to play and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you don't have a favorite jazz tune that you created, but do you have a favorite jazz tune, period? That
No,
made someone, no?
no.
Oh, okay. What about a non-jazz tune? It could be R&B, rock, country.
Gee, there's. I mean, I couldn't say. You know that it's like nah, I couldn't say. That's really hard to do. I couldn't say that. There's so many great tunes. There's so many great that I mean, it's like uh that's really hard. You
Okay,
know, you
okay,
know, that's tough.
okay. Is there a particular jazz musician that you would like to collaborate with that's there now? I know we don't hear so much jazz now, whereas I think before you used to hear a lot of jazz. Now it's kind of like its own little niche because pop music and rap and all of that, we hear that all the time. But is there a particular jazz musician you would like to collaborate with?
There are so many. I could not name them all.
Pick one.
I mean, that's just.
I mean, okay, is there a particular keyboard, since you are in more so into keyboard now and not trumpet, as far as the keyboard is concerned, is there someone who you really would like to, like, you know what? I would like to really, what do they call those when they jam sessions? I would really like to be in a jam session with this particular jazz musician.
Well, see, the ones that I would be thinking of, I would be pretty much afraid to really jam with them because they would be
Right.
so. Well, well, frankly speaking, I've never thought about that. I've never. I couldn't say that because I've never thought about that. That's just not. I couldn't come up with that. That's no, no. It's no, this couldn't do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I have someone here, Sarah Crawley. She says, sounds like a life experience with the developmental process through the sounds of music.
That's true. That's
Okay.
true. You practice every day. I practice every day. And then I listen. Actually, I listen to more pop music than I do jazz. There's certain artists I like, Erykah Badu, Sade, uh, old Marvin Gaye stuff, you know, um, Anita Baker, some of her stuff. Because I had to, at one time I was in a band that we played music like that, and I really liked that. So, and you have to grow as an artist. You just have to. You just can't. You got to keep trying to develop and listen and see things and keep going like that.
Okay. Now I see a piano behind you.
Hmm.
And you told me when before we aired that was a special piano. Tell us about it.
Well, it's an old Howard upright. It's not anything great like a Steinway or anything like that, Mason Hamlin or anything. But it was given to me by my best friend's mother.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd never had a piano before.
Okay.
Yeah, and she told me that if you really wanted, because she was moving with her son, they were moving to Houston, and she said you can have it. And it was the greatest gift I ever had. I mean, really.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's oh wow. That's
yeah.
that's that's really something. What I wanted, StreamYard has a new feature, and what I wanted to do was to go on YouTube, not YouTube, but Facebook, and show one of your performances. But you know, I I, I just think I'll just wait and let people come to your Facebook page and see it. So I see Chris Lewis. He
Who's
says,
that?
he said earlier, this is what he said. I'm not going to say what he said because that's secret out. Yes, I am. I'm going to say it. He says, hey, niece and nephew.
Oh.
And then he says, I play funk and R&B.
Well, that's great. That's great.
And so
what's funk and what's R&B? That's what I'd like to know.
Well, you used to play R&B. That's what you said.
That's what I said.
From R&B.
Well, R&B that was funky.
Funk came
R&B that was funky.
Okay, so now I want to ask you this question. How do you choose your singers?
How?
Yes, because I've seen different on YouTube and then on Facebook where you have different singers on, jazz singers. How do you choose them?
Well, actually, it's not like I audition them or anything like that. The singers that that perform with me, I already know them, and it depends on.
Number one, you already know them. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and it also depends. It depends on their availability.
Depends on their availability. Number two,
and their repertoire.
And their repertoire. Number three.
Pretty much that's it. Most of the singers, in fact, all the singers that that perform with me, I have really performed with them. They've asked me. That's how I got to know them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They would ask me to play for them, and then when I get a gig and I need one, whoever's available, then I'll ask them to play. But see, their repertoire is very important.
Okay, so do people just sometimes refer a singer to you, like, John, you really need to have this person to sing with you on one of your sets?
That never works out, but that has happened. Let me tell you something.
I'm heading.
No, you got to understand this. I used to talk to my grandfather a lot about singing.
Uh-huh.
I used to talk to my stepmom about singing.
Uh-huh.
And they taught me what good singing is. That's why I don't sing.
So what is good singing?
Well, I can't just tell you what good singing is, but you know it when you hear it. My stepmother and I would listen, and I would say, "Oh, that sounds so good," and she said, "He can't sing." And later on, you discover, well, yeah, he's really not that great, And this is kind of like almost like a cultural training. You know what I mean? You learn who can really sing, over time. My great grandmother who raised me, she used to sing every day, all day. She had the most beautiful voice, very beautiful voice.
Who else used to sing all day? And for people who are on here, nobody knows really how we are. Why I got you on the show, number one, and what's our relationship. I beg your pardon. And what's our relationship? Except for Chris, hey, niece and nephew. Because for people who are out there, John is my older brother.
How about that?
He's my older brother. Now, most people know how old I am. I'm 79. How old are you, John?
78.
No, you're not. You are my older brother. You came here before me.
Did I? That's not what Mom said. Mom didn't tell me that.
Yes, she did.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did. You are 2 years older than me.
She told me one day, you do have a sister.
So you are 82, right?
82? No.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
And you'll be, yeah.
No.
you'll be 83 in this. Wait a minute.
Oh my goodness.
That's right. You had a birthday. You are 83 years old. And I just wanted to say that because most people your age, they're not composing. Chris said, is Chris 81? Oh, Lord. All y'all older than me.
Chris is not 81.
He says he is.
Well, can we move on, please?
Okay. Oh, now he says 83. What are you, Chris? Are you 81 or 83? Well, anyway, but because the reason why I'm saying this for, oh, he says not me now. Because I mean, you're 83 and you are still composing, you are still performing. I know you work out, and so you're really doing. Chris says he's 62. Okay, he's the young one. But the reason why I ask you about singing, I've been trying to sing with you, and everybody knows that I have a beautiful voice. I can sing jazz, I can sing opera, I have soloed, and I just really think that, and I have a repertoire. You know me. There were three things you said. You know me. I have a repertoire, and I can make myself available. And so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have people inundate your, Kevin says, uh-oh. I'm going to have people to inundate your Facebook page with requests to have me sing. Now, Chris says, let's hear you sing a bit, Nisi. What would you like to hear, Chris? My favorite song is, and we got a little, My Funny Valentine. And I know you can play that, Johnny. We should make a CD together. My Funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with your eyes. Your looks are laughable. That's all. You have to pay for the rest. So there. Anyway, when we first came on, and I'm going to play it right before I go out, you composed a song, and the name of the song, and I had the CD in front of me, and now I don't know what I did with it, but you composed a song, and it was called Jan Scream. Oh, here it is. And who is this? Sarah Crowley. I'm not going to put this. His grandmother was right. Sarah knows I can sing. But anyway, the name of the CD is called Valencia. And I know you named the CD Valencia after your daughter who has passed. And this CD is available, of course, on, all they have to do is go to your Facebook page. And what I want to do is put how they can reach you, because we only have about 5 minutes left. And they can reach you. You have a website, which is johnaLewisJazz.com, or they can email you at valeteri@att.net. But if they really want to hear you and see you perform, they can go to your Facebook page, which is John A. Lewis Jazz. And I want to tell you, I have him on here because even though he's my brother, and I don't know why he won't let me sing with him. He is really, really good. I've seen him perform, and he's good. Now, what I want you to know, and I'm going to, when we leave, I'm going to play that promo again so they can kind of hear a portion of Jan's theme. And so what I want to know is, the name of the song is Jan's Theme. And why did you name that particular song? Because it
Well,
sounds...
you asked me to write a song with your name on it, so I did it. Period.
I didn't ask you to.
Yes, you did. You said,
I don't remember
dedicate a
that.
song to me. Yeah, that's it. That's why it's that. You said dedicate your song, so I did that.
You know what?
It was just exactly what you did.
I don't remember that.
Well, that's how it became Jan's theme.
Well, I want you to know that the song, when I listen to it, and what I want people to listen to it, and as a matter of fact, they can find it on your Facebook page, listen to the whole song, because actually the song really, to me, it embodies me. So even though I ask you, so you say, to write a
Nothing wrong with that. There was nothing wrong with that. You just
I
mentioned
didn't say there was anything wrong with it. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
since I supposedly...
But that's how the idea came up. Otherwise, it never would have been that way, because I don't make a habit of naming songs like that or after anybody, that didn't come to my mind. You just came up with it, so that's it.
Okay, so this is the YouTube channel that you can find Jan's theme on. However, Johnny, now they can tell we're sister and brother, right?
Yes, so.
Anyway, to me, the song kind of embodies me. It's not like a really jumpy song. It's kind of a smooth, mellow song. And now there are, who do we see on here? We see Chris Lewis, Terry Lewis, Kevin Lowe, and Sarah Crowley. Just choose a name that you would like to send this CD to.
Just
and
choose
I can get their information.
Okay, well, what's the name? Crowley?
Sarah Crowley?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sarah Crowley will give me her information, and Sarah Crowley, I will definitely get this CD to you, and you can listen to Jan's theme. John, thank you so much for being on the show this evening. I have really enjoyed you. I'm sure that I have a little something to say to you after the show. So don't leave after the show is over.
Okay.
So so just stay, don't go anywhere. I'm going to close, but I want to thank everyone who tuned in this evening, because it's evening here. And a little bit about my background and my musical background. My father, my grandfather, my nephew, my nieces, my mom, all sang, all either or played instruments. Some of you know, not only do I sing, but I also play. But music, we all have a relationship with music. Some of us have a relationship with pop music, R&B music. My brother John has a relationship with jazz music. And when you listen to music, you get a feeling. You either get a feeling of happiness, sadness. It makes you remember stuff. It'll make you dance. We all have a relationship with music. This has been another episode of Relationship Matters. And I will see you next week, next Thursday, where I will have Teresa Pushkar, who is an edutainer. It should be a great show. And I'm going to close with the opening of John Lewis and Jan's theme. We'll see you next time. Stay safe. Wear your mask. And remember, relationship matter. Relationship matters. Relationships matter. See you next time.